What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Leadership Ignition Team podcast. I almost said Coach Shane, because I say that so much. I'm Shane Beckham, and my co-host.
And I'm Mike Huff, and I'm no one's coach. But Shane, I'm excited about today. I think this is one that we've been talking about for some time. You know, we've talked quite a bit about clarity, alignment, and this falls right in line with that. So why don't you tell us what we're going to chat about today?
So right on, man. So again, I have a driver's seat that I say a lot. I'm in the driver's seat. And what does that mean, Mike? That means that I get to talk to a lot of individuals every day, basically, that there's fundamentally the same problems that I hear, right? Outside of fitness, okay? Because when you boil it down, it's what happens before you get to the gym. To me, Mike, that's more important oftentimes than what you even do once you get inside it. And again, this is heavily opinionated, but to me, Mike, I feel like systematically this entire, I won't say country, but it's becoming more and more busted because of the convenience levels that we have. To the point where every single thing that you do, you have the opportunity to negotiate out of. And my point to all of that rambling to get the episode started is every single day I hear the same thing. You know what it is? It's, I don't have the motivation. I don't have the discipline. I don't have the drive. I want to do this, but yet I don't. And I'm like, okay, why not? It's the used to be's. It drives me crazy. I used to go to the gym. Well, why does it got to be a used to be? Why can't you come tomorrow? I got 6 sessions. Which one do you want to come to? Then what do I hear? Well, tomorrow's not good. Okay.
Well, tomorrow, I'm busy. I got to plan this out, man. I can't just.
So the point I make to them is like, look, the first thing I want you to do is stop negotiating with yourself. You already went to the point of getting on a phone call with me. You already did the hardest part. So don't allow the negotiation to creep back in, because Mike, what happens next is time. I don't have time. Something's always coming up. But are you giving yourself barriers? Are you creating barriers in your own life without realizing it? First point, when we talk about the renegotiation cycle, right? Basically, that is a contract that I write with myself. It is a contract to myself that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Well, before I can do Y, guess what? I have to do X. How many people miss the X? And then the Y and Z gets busted for the rest of the day, and they put that on repeat every day of their life. So breaking it down to the simple contract, like you and me talking on the phone right now, it's just like when I talk with my coaches when I hire them. I say to them, you realize you have to get up at 3:30 in the morning to be here. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, I'm in.
Rock and roll. What happens week one? Week one. This sucks. You think I could pick up afternoons only? Like, no, man.
No, that's not the deal.
Point being, it's easy to say I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're awake. So the first thing that I had on my list, Mike, is the number one point of failure that I feel like everybody puts themselves into a situation of creating barriers, and that is the alarm clock. Hey, Mike, I'm going to text you tonight and say, hey, buddy, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm going to the gym. Lock it in. What happens when someone is not mentally prepared to take that step? The alarm clock goes off. It's 4 a.m. I want to change my life, but now the negotiation begins. You know why? Because I'm in that nice, comfy, warm bed. The fans are blowing. I don't want to get up anymore, right? So 5 more minutes is the snooze button. Hit the snooze button. Guess what I just did? I just began the negotiation, and I just broke the first contract of the day with myself. If you were to take a poll question, Mike, of all your employees at one point, or anybody, how many of you hit the snooze button? What do you think that percentage is out of 100?
If they're honest with you, it's going to be high 80s.
Why is that?
One of the first things I think about is we're going to dive into why people do this. Why do they break the contracts themselves? But what happens when the person you lie to the most is yourself? That's what we're talking about here. Is it's so easy to, Shane, if I text you and say, hey, we're going to get on a call too, hey, 95% of the time I'll be there. Every now and again I screw that up, but not because I didn't want to. So I didn't put it in the calendar or whatever. Because I know you're counting on me. And when I know somebody's counting on me, I will not fail. But not everybody's that way either, but I'm damn sure that way. So if somebody's counting on me, I will be there. But I used to be the guy who would break those excuses, those promises to myself all the time. Start a new gym program, start a new juicing cleanse, a new diet program, I'm going to go to bed by 9 o'clock every night. I'm going to get up by 5 o'clock every morning. And I would break those promises to myself all the time because I would let the problems of my life be the excuse as to why I should break those promises. So it's really because there's no one to hold you accountable but you. And when you say that you're the captain of your own ship, that you're in control of your life, there's nothing more true than that. The problem is no one takes on that responsibility. Not no one. A lot of people do. But more and more people are avoiding the responsibility of self-control, self-discipline, self-management. And that's why that is. That's why 86% of people push a snooze button, because they stayed up too late. Why did they stay up too late? Well, when I got home from work, my kids wanted me to play with them. Okay, cool. And then what happened? Well, then I sat on the couch and watched TV for 4 hours, and I should have been going to bed, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't your kids, man. But you're lying to yourself. You're saying it was. And why didn't you push the alarm button? Because you knew if you did, you'd then have to take the next step, which is put on your damn gym shoes and go to the gym, which you really don't want to do. Why? It's hard. And you want to avoid hard stuff. So you say the reason I didn't is because I had to spend time with my kids last night. And chain of events never stops once you start it.
Yeah. And to your point, it once you enter that cycle, like that's a habit you never break. Like people do that their entire lives. I'll do it. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't hit the snooze button every now and then, because that would be a lie. However, there's been points in my life to where I have disabled snooze on my iPhone on purpose, to where if you didn't get up, you were in some big trouble, right? So
yeah.
It's a different thing though. It's like you said, when you get into that routine, you see a version of yourself that you want to become. Like you can see that person standing on the other side of the bridge. And all you got to do is lay a few pieces down and you can get across it. Well, the first piece of that bridge is the alarm clock. Well, when you push snooze long enough, to your point, eventually you stop seeing yourself as someone who follows through, and that will carry over. Now you wake up and then you're like, all right, what's the next step, Mike? I'm going to train at lunch. I'll do it at lunch. We know how that goes. Lunch is busy. Work overwhelms you. Matt, most of the time you're grabbing something and you don't have time to go work out. And you know that when you say it. So then what happens? I'll do it after work. But that's another topic I want to get into a bit later. But, Mike, to me, if you look at it that way and you say, okay, what's one thing, I know we're not even nowhere near the AAR, but the after action report. But one thing that I tell people is, if you just get up when you say you're going to, set the alarm for the minute you want to get up, and get up, then your day will go better. It will go better because, number one, you get the dopamine reward of doing what you said you were going to do. So, Mike, to me, that's the first contract. The first renegotiation step of the day begins once that noisy iPhone goes off.
Well, and I hate to bring it back to the same author and same book over and over and over again, but Atomic Habits is just so powerful for this reason. The whole reason we love Atomic Habits is because it says, one, you create a contract, and then you make it really easy to comply. Look at that, James Cleary, it's right on his desk. Then you make it really easy to comply with that contract by stacking contracts on contracts. Question I've got for you, Shane, we talk about discipline a lot, but in this context, I'm starting to wonder, is it really discipline that drives the greatest success, or is it the refusal to renegotiate contracts you made with yourself?
Great question. Hadn't really thought about it that way, to be honest with you. But your point is, does it require a certain amount of discipline to not hit snooze? Maybe. But I think it takes more discipline to not talk yourself in, because the reality is this: anything can be renegotiated in your head because you're going to give yourself the answer that you want.
Yeah.
So if you enter into that negotiation, you're screwed. You already screwed yourself because you're never going to win that fight. You're going to hit snooze button every time. So to me, to answer your question, I think it's more powerful to not enter into that renegotiation than it is to have the discipline to not hit snooze, which kind of ties together, but it's all part of that process. Like when you go to bed and you say to yourself, I'm getting up no matter what, going to the gym, there's no questions about it. Like it's like the power of positive thinking, or, you're talking that into existence. I believe that exists. You're not going to stay up too late. You're not going to do the things because that is what you said you wanted to do. So you've set the path the night before, which makes the barrier a hell of a lot easier to not be there in the morning. Because to your point, oftentimes what you do 12 hours before that alarm clock goes off is already created the barrier for you to hit the snooze button, which leads back to your last point of building consistent habits, which would be done the night before. It's all big wheel, man.
Well, and Shane, where I was going to go on that is what you already said, which is that cycle, that's the wheel that you talked about. It's bad news is it works both directions, forwards and in reverse. Once you start the reverse wheel, it's really tough. Now it's going to take some real control to start going, to make it go the other way. And unfortunately, you could have forward wheels in faith and family and finance, and backwards wheels in fitness, or vice versa. Any one of those four could be going the right direction, while the other three are all going the wrong direction. But they ultimately all bleed into each other. Why? Because of what you already said, which is when you fail yourself, we teach ourselves that my word doesn't mean very much. And so when it doesn't mean very much to you in this aspect of your life, it can start to not mean much to you in other aspects of your life too. And we know scientifically that confidence, that when we're confident about something, is because we've got evidence that we know how to do something, or we've got evidence that we have done something. And when you create evidence that you're not going to do something, you just keep not doing something. I remember back in the battle ready days, we hear this all the time from those guys, right? From Byron and Nate. The guys that would come in, piss and vinegar, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And they would ask hard questions like, well, why haven't you done it before? Well, I just let this get away from me, or let that get away from me. The truth is, I said those same things coming into the front door. But this time for me, it was different. And I don't know exactly what was different, but I was ready. And a lot of times people are starting these ideas, whether they be creating a new venture, or they're creating we've talked about workout routines all over the place, or they're going to chase that next opportunity within their organization, but they're really not ready to do the hard work. I was listening to another podcast today, a guy named Brooks, who was a NHL player for 16 years. He was talking about, I stepped away from the game and I wanted to go create a business now. My body's broken. I need to go do something else. He said, but I had no idea. I can't remember what kind of business it was. It was a coffee stand or something. And he said, but I had no idea how to run one of those things. It was clueless. But I said to myself, am I going to be talking about what you said, which is who I used to be for the rest of my life? Or am I going to be talking about who I am now? And so that's really, I think, where people can get control and can stop renegotiating if you truly do, like what we always said, create that to-be list and truly commit to that's who you're going to go be.
Mike, we talk about training and family and business. You're exactly right. It's not a matter of who you used to be or this, that, and the other. It's who you can be. I recently reminded myself, I track my nutrition off and on. I'm not always on every day, 365. I give myself some breaks. The problem is when I enter into those breaks, I negotiate hard to break a lot of rules that I shouldn't because I have that freedom. And I was telling you yesterday, like I'm on day 10 now of being back very strict. And I forget how good I feel when I'm locked in.
Yep.
Man, I feel good.
But there's still something in the back of your mind, which is why you take breaks, to say, but I want the comfort of not being locked in, right? So even though it's amazing when you're on the other side, because we've created these lifelong habits behind us. They want to drag us down still. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there's off ramps everywhere you look.
Everywhere you look.
And, I'll give myself an off ramp. Well, it's winter time. I'm going to go into a bulk.
Oh, the old
that's
bulk
my
and cut scenario.
that's my scenario is I'm going to
Yeah.
bulk. And when I bulk, guess what I don't do? I don't track.
How about I
just eat
deserve a
whatever
cheat
I
meal?
want.
I shouldn't have. I've been good all week. I'm gonna eat 3 pizzas. Or, when you're thinking about working out, it's, oh man, I don't really need to do this 3rd set or 4th set, or it says my coach gave me 8 reps. I'm gonna do 6. Just not willing to grind that little extra bit. So it can happen in these micro ways, but you're still failing yourself, not failing your coach.
Yeah.
And so
I was watching a clip yesterday, and it was like it was about Arnold and Lou Ferrigno, right?
Yep.
And Lou was putting in the work, dude. I mean, he was crushing it, hurting himself, and he's like, I'm gonna beat him. And this trainer looked at him. He said, "You think you're working hard? I guarantee you, he's working 3 times harder than you right now." You don't have to have that mindset to get ahead, but what you do have to have is, to your point, Mike, is I'm going to be who I said I was going to be. And more people figure that little nugget out, man, they'd be so much better, because everybody I talk to wants the change. They want change. They're scared to make it because it takes them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And comfort is so much easier to have these days, no matter what the state of the economy, whatever. Take a look around at all the amenities that we have now and all the luxuries.
Well, it's hardwired into us. The human race was built to try to find ways to get as comfortable as possible. But that was at a time where we're living in caves and fending off saber-toothed tigers. I don't think it actually happened, but on the Flintstones it happened. And so that is what we were built to do, is to try to find ways to invent new things, to create comfort, whether it be fire or food or shelter, whatever. We've taken it to a freaking extreme, brother.
Yeah.
We've created comfort in every little thing that we do because they're just hardwired that way. Another podcaster that I listen to all the time, Adam Carolla, talks about, he's good friends with Dr. Drew from the old Loveline days. And they'll talk about, Dr. Drew will ask him, where's all this heading? Where's society heading? And he'll say, we're going to 2 places, safe spaces and octagons. And I think I maybe used that on this line before. And it's the people who are constantly chasing comfort that are falling into safe spaces, and the people who are consciously not trying to avoid comfort, trying to push themselves into hard things so that they can do even more hard things, that are, call them, chasing octagons. I'm not getting in a ring anytime soon, but I'm working hard to make sure that I'm choosing hard things to achieve the outcomes I want to achieve.
Talk about going back to the simple analogy of your alarm clock. It's, if you think about it this way, every snooze button is a vote, right? It's a vote against who you said you were going to be. So think about it, and I want to ask you a follow-up question. So if every snooze button is a vote, that means every excuse is evidence. Your confidence starts to disappear. Your self-trust disappears, because that's happening every time you do that. So think about your colleagues, your kids, or your colleagues. If you give your kids an assignment, or, whatever it is with your kids, you expect what? Your word to mean something to them. You expect that. Your colleagues, the people that work for you, you expect them to follow out your words and your orders. If you have the same expectations for yourself as you do everyone else around you, guess what? You'll start to succeed, because you don't want them to let you down. So why in the hell do you let yourself down every day? Why? Because the brain becomes a professional attorney for comfort.
That's beautiful. I love that. And yeah. And attorney sucks. Sorry, all my attorney friends.
It's ChatGPT times zillions inside your brain. You're the cleverest you'll ever be and can come up with anything.
Well, and here's the worst part about that is, while you're justifying those decisions to yourself, everyone else around you sees them. Your kids absolutely see them, and they emulate them whether you want them to or not. And you have to be aware of that. I think we're all aware that our kids do what they see, not what they are told. And it's true with your coworkers too. I wrote down a few things that you can do at work that'll screw you up big time. avoid hard conversations, right? That's uncomfortable. I don't want to tell Shane that he needs to show up 5 minutes earlier because he can't seem to get here and get the place open on time. I don't want to tell my teammate that, look, you have to do better with personal hygiene. It's inappropriate in the workplace, right? That's a tough conversation to have, but you have to have those discussions. And when people see you avoid those, or hey, Johnny, you're really not performing. Everyone here likes you, but you're falling behind.
Yeah.
And if you can't have those discussions, then people will see and they will start doing, well, Johnny's getting away with it. Why the hell am I working so hard? And they lose faith in you. But
it happens quick.
It happens quick.
Happens quick. And it's
Yep.
the simplest of things too. Like, I'm sure the young man may or may not listen to this podcast. I'm not talking ugly about him, but I had a younger coach, and the standards are all the way down to every little detail. The standard is the standard.
Yep.
And our standard at the gym is black on black. That's it. Black on black. I give you the attire, the dress code. You have it. That doesn't mean black shorts with a gray stripe down the sides. That doesn't mean black shorts with Old Navy written up the leg.
Yep.
And I'm seeing these things, and I'm like, and I say, look, I'm not nitpicking you, but here's the reality. The standard is the standard. You do this and I allow it, then I've got 6 more doing the same thing.
Exactly right.
Because
imagine what would have happened if you wouldn't have addressed that. Everyone else is going to see, oh, well, I can wear my booty shorts with juicy across my rear end.
I can get away with it.
Yeah.
I can get away with it because people will find loopholes to get away. Well, you let so-and-so do it. So your point is, so your word has to mean something, and you not following up with your first thing in the morning. Okay, let's strip this onion back even further, Mike. Let's talk about the people that aren't setting their alarm to go work out, but they want to make a change in their life. I was thinking about this yesterday, and I thought about this podcast because we always talk about the people that are moving into an area of change.
Yep.
What about all the people that are unaware? Or here's an analogy I want to give you. And what's some advice that you can say, an eye opener, if you will, because most people in that situation do not get an eye opener until what? Their A1C comes in. It's just one example, but it happens a lot. You're fixing to have to get on insulin. Oh shit. I've got to go to the gym. I've got to lose 50 pounds. Well, now you're panicking, and you try to layer everything on at once, which is really hard to do no matter who you are. So think about the roof on your house. And I know that's you have a brand new one, courtesy of a Armageddon hailstorm we were in together.
We survived.
Headed to the gym, mind you.
Indeed. At early time.
So let's think about this. You're sitting there and all of a sudden you hear this little bitty leak coming from your roof. And I'm like, crap. Maybe it's a skylight. Maybe, something simple. Nothing that's going to wreck your house. So I'm busy, Mike. I told you, Mike, I got a stupid roof leak. I'm going to get to that I'm going to deal with that next weekend. Well, next weekend comes and goes. Then all of a sudden it's fall. It's spring. It's summer. I still have not touched the drip. You know why? Because I've adapted to this problem. I've adapted to it. It's not hurting anything.
Sure, you got a bucket in a corner. You got maybe you threw a tarp on the roof. Yeah. You adapted.
It's not hurting a thing. Well, what happens is weeks to months to years. And next thing I know, that entire floor of my house has now got mold.
If not all your interior walls.
I've got rotten wood, structure damage. It's kind of a weird analogy, but
no, I think it's perfectly fitting.
You think about, because I renegotiated my need to fix that is the same thing renegotiating the need to fix myself.
Yep.
One of the things you hear me say on the mic all the time is you can't fix anyone else until you fix yourself first. Stop pretending it. That includes your family, your children, anybody. Like, you can't fix them until you start with this. I've been there. So it's like training. The skipped workout wasn't the problem. The avoided conversation with my coworker wasn't the problem. The delayed discipline wasn't the problem. It was the accumulation of all those problems together, because one decision is not going to destroy my future. But if I let that leaky root go on forever, it's going to deteriorate the entire house.
Man, I'll tell you, I'm going to come back to how this affects your guys like us in our marriages. But my key takeaways were what you just said in this section. Tiny compromises compound. No one ruins their life in one decision. That's not true. Some people do. It happens.
That is true.
It happens through repeated micro renegotiations, right? But the thing I was thinking about with my wife is the dishwasher could be done and clean, but I put my dirty bowl from breakfast in the sink, and I walk away. Why didn't I empty the dishwasher, put my bowl in the dishwasher? 'Cause I didn't want to. I know she'll do it later. That one little thing's probably not going to create a rift in our marriage, but do that 200 times a week or 8,000 times a month or whatever a year, you're going to be seen as a person who doesn't help, who doesn't support, who doesn't do the right thing. Even if she'll never know. The little things you do yourself when you negotiate. A new Amazon package shows up, which they freaking do every day in droves. That's another conversation for another day. You can open the box, you can take the thing out, and you can put the box still fully packed together with its packing on top of your recycling bin. Freaking do the damn work that takes 1 second extra and cut the bottom tape and flatten the box and put all the stuff in the recycling bin. It's the negotiations, the little decisions to not go full on with whatever you're supposed to do. It's you're shoveling the driveway, but you only make when you live in snow country, but you only make a swipe big enough that's a shovel width wide. It's all those things, right? You're willing to settle for good enough. Quit too early.
I'm going back to the alarm because that's where we started, because that kind of trickles down to everything else. And you asked me a question earlier about where is the power? Is it the discipline or is it the renegotiation? I've thought about that a little bit more, and my answer to that is people that are successful, they don't eliminate the difficulty, whether decisions, whatever. They don't eliminate difficulty. They eliminate the negotiation. They don't eliminate the challenges.
Yeah, the challenges are going to be there.
They eliminate the thought process of a negotiation. Like that's why when we talk about non-negotiables, many people F up a non-negotiable, they just walk all over it. When someone says the term non-negotiable to me, that means that this is something that has to be done every single day, whether it's my job or my life. It's non-negotiable.
Yep.
How many of us have that mindset when it comes to getting up in the morning? It's a damn non-negotiable. My alarm is set for 5 o'clock. That is when my feet are going to hit the floor. It's a non-negotiable. It's a reframe. It's a reset. You tell yourself that enough times over and you start doing it, then it becomes the habit. I think back to, I get tickled now. Sure, I'm in good shape. I work hard for it. Yes, I won't deny the fact that owning a gym has made my workout life a little bit easier, okay? There's no denying that. I can go get a workout whenever the hell I want, 24 hours a day. I own it. Who was commenting and cheering me on when the alarm went off at 3:15 every single morning of my life, when then I went and worked a 14-hour job at the paving crew? Like, that's what I did. You know why, Mike? Because it was a non-negotiable.
Yep.
That's just who I was. You can always find a reason why someone's better than you. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. Don't take that way. You can always find a reason why someone's able to do something better than you. Shane owns a gym, therefore he's in shape. Shit. I can show you a lot of people that own gyms that ain't. And that ain't no hard foul. I'm just saying, you still got to do the damn work. It's just my path has become easier. My point is, you talk about no non-negotiables. It's because, go back to the contract theory. Mike, you don't get stuck because you don't know how to do something. You're smart. You're very intelligent. You get stuck in life because you keep rewriting your contract. Because it's not a non-negotiable to you. You know that you hold the pencil and the contract's in front of you, and every morning you wake up, when you hit snooze, you just rewrote your contract for the entire day.
That's exactly right.
And you do it every single day. Well, one red line. Okay, what else am I going to red line for today?
Which means when things get easier. Yeah, when things get easier, when you write that red line becomes addicting. Get rid of all this shit I really don't want to do, because life will be so much easier.
I don't need that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I'm
I'm
good
okay.
enough. I'm 50. How much shape do I got to be in?
Got
Eh,
plenty of time.
I'm a director. I don't need to be a vice president. I'm good. Hey, my wife's been with me 26 years. She hasn't left me yet. We're good. Are we?
Yeah, somehow you've managed to hold that together, Mike.
Yeah.
So
Because I've never ever thought that way. That's why.
it's you know one last thought on that. I'll kick it back to you. My daughter, God love her, and I've been trying to work with her about life and realizing the power of reframing. Because it starts at such a young age now with all of the
Mhm.
technology and everything. And I'm like, you have to reframe this. You have to move past this. No one is going to give this to you. You have to go take it. You got to go find it. You have to stop the negotiation and make the action happen. So, I just rewriting the contract was something that stood out to me a lot because we have a daily contract. And if you don't, you need one.
Yep.
I'm not saying maybe you do need to write it down. I don't know.
Yep.
But why are you rewriting it every day? If you tell me you want to get in shape and lose weight, why are you not at the gym with me every morning? Why
Now,
not?
if you got to make a tweak because you jacked up your knee or your shoulder, which I tend to do a lot in both of those, you make a tweak, but you don't rewrite the contract. You just figure out how you achieve the same outcome anyway. One of our buddies posted in one of the online forums, some social media post about this concept of drift. A guy named Chris Maxwell, who we're friends with, and when we were thinking about this topic, that alignment with Chris and what he was saying around drift makes a lot of sense. Which it's so easy when you're on a path for a fitness program or you're reestablishing a relationship with God or trying to make it stronger, or you've got you've got a great path in your marriage and things are going well, or you're trying to build a new career, start a new company, whatever, and then you make one negotiation. You decide, as an example, hey, I'm not going to get my workout in today. I'm just, this is a 20-hour day. It's not going to happen. That can happen, but you got to make up for it. But the problem is the next day you go, oh man, I missed yesterday. And I don't know, should I do yesterday's program or today's program? I'm just going to, I'll restart on Monday. Well, Monday rolls around, you're out of the groove. It's already over. You have, that drift has now occurred and you are no longer center line. You are way to the right of where you wanted to be. And that happens in every aspect of your life if you allow yourself to make those renegotiations. You can make minor modifications because things get in the way. There's no question about it, but you got to get right back on the path. Otherwise, it's that renegotiation will take you all the way down a deep rabbit hole.
It's, but how do you prevent that from happening?
Well, first, I think, and this is where we can start to talk about some solutions, right? I think, first of all, we've already discussed it. And a lot of people, like you said, are just discovering this for the first time for whatever reason. They have a health issue. They've had some self-actualization to say, I got to get my act together in one of the 4 F bombs, right? But one is you don't leave it open-ended when you make a decision to begin with. You say, I'm going to work out at 5 a.m. You don't say, I'm going to decide whether or not I feel like working out when I wake up in the morning. I might not, right? You have to pre-decide your standards. We talked about this before. I think it was even just last podcast. If you set your standards on the front end, there is no negotiation to take place. There is no decision to be made. The decision is made. And so you got to do that. And then I guess it now does come down to having the disciplines you mentioned. It's both things, having the discipline not to renegotiate. You've said this is your standard and you're going to do it. And I think the second part of that is, we've talked about this before too. You have to separate your feelings from your commitments. You are not your emotions. You have to recognize your emotions and accept that you don't feel like working out today. How many times have you and I posted on social media, didn't feel like doing it, did it anyway. Here's the outcome, got a new PR, whatever. There's a lot of times that I don't feel like doing something. I don't feel like waking up at 4 a.m. to fly to California, to fly back to Omaha to fly. It sounds terrible. And so I don't want to do it, but I do it because it's what I've said I'm going to go do. And so I think it doesn't matter how you feel. You've made your decision. Now act on it. What do you think?
So one of the things you just mentioned there is talking about the discipline. I think about when we talked about a little bit earlier, how to prevent this from happening is, you and I talked a little bit about what the successful people did. They didn't eliminate the difficulty. They just eliminated the negotiation, because the decision from those people are already made before the emotion enters the room. Once emotion hits, I'm comfortable in this bed. That is an emotional feeling. I'm tired. I didn't get enough rest last night. That's emotion. I went hard in my training yesterday. I probably don't need to go to work out today. I ate good yesterday. Probably those are emotions. When you enter into unwillingness of renegotiation, that means you have a binding contract with yourself. And you said, no, you know what? I said I was going to get up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up. So you've made that decision subconsciously because you want the subconscious to become the conscious. So by reframing your mindset, this is who I'm going to be. I said I was going to get up at this time. That's a non-negotiable. So no matter how comfortable I am, I'm going to turn and put my feet on the ground. Because once you make the turn, you're up. You're up. And then you're happy because you said you were going to do what you said you were going to do. And the dominoes are now falling the right direction. Every day, the domino is standing still. Which way is it going to flow? You start it. And most people start them going the wrong way, which puts them in a badass mood when they get to work. Now they're an unhappy employee. They're bitching and griping about everything that it's just a job. And like, dude, why you even work here? It's, why are you mad about everything? It's what we do. Because why? They don't have their priorities set, man. They're living in a fantasy world. They want all these things, but they're unwilling to make one change, getting out of the bed. Start there. Start with one thing.
And the worst part for those people, we all have them in our life or had them in our life, is you just know if you could get them started down one positive path somewhere in their life, the rest of that would turn around. But they're so negative about everything because they've created the self-belief that a little, not that your daughter's done this, but a little bit about what you're saying about your daughters. The world owes you something. The world doesn't owe you shit. We all know that, but you convince yourself that it does. And nothing's fair. There's no such thing as fair. Everything I own today could be taken away in a heartbeat tomorrow if I make the wrong decisions, if I choose the wrong things. Once you get that self-awareness that you truly are the leader of your own life, then you say, okay, now if I'm the leader, what am I going to do to get where I want to be? And talk to every successful person you know, whether they be famous or, they're business leaders or they're great orators, they're great speakers, whatever. They will tell you the difference is they didn't wait for somebody to give it to them. They just went after it. They went after it. They went after it, even if they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And so that's the difference maker. And I think if you build identity-based habits, you say, this is who I'm going to be. This is my to-be list. You then write the contracts with yourself and what you're going to go do. And you eliminate those tiny escapes, those opportunities to let yourself off the hook because you're going to be this human. That's the only way to get out of that negative cycle.
And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. It's then when you get there, it's okay. I've reinvented this cycle. So now what I'm going to do? Okay, now I'm going to wake up. I've woke up. Now I'm going to go train. Well, that's the next thing that you can't create barriers for.
Right.
Like you have to remove barriers consistently and openly. I tell people when I talk to them on the phone, they talk about, and again, this is not a bash against anything, but people tell me all the time, well, I do better in group fitness because if I go to Planet Fitness or somewhere like that, I just walk on a treadmill. I don't know what to do. Well, that eventually becomes a barrier because you're going to stop going. Well, people that are successful, Mike, with themselves and in business, myself, I want to eliminate every barrier there is for you to come to my gym. In fact, you called me not long ago and said, hey, there's some barriers that you might want to look into. You're right. Those are barriers that I'm trying to get around. Like the process is not seamless and that's a problem. So the more barriers that you can eliminate, and that goes back to being consistent, following atomic habits. Okay, if the barrier to train is not having all my stuff ready, then get your stuff ready before you go to sleep. It's like you said, I'm tired too, but before I go to sleep, I'm going to set all these things out because that makes the path of resistance less daunting. That gives me less power to negotiate with myself. If I get out of the bed on time and I walk into the kitchen and everything is there for me to cook my eggs and take my vitamins and take my creatine, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. But if I have to get all that shit ready, guess what I'm not going to do potentially? Nah, I'll do it later. It's such little small micro changes, Mike, that you can do as a human being to become a little bit better. And I catch myself all the time. And because your point, we talk a lot about discipline and training, but this goes back to your analogy about you and your wife and the dishwasher. So true. If I just put that towel in the dirty clothes hamper instead of leaving it on the floor, extra 30 seconds. Extra 30 seconds can go such a long way sometimes, but that's so true to your own lives. And these are not new philosophies that you and I have come upon. We just made a shift in our lives and we said, no more. This is who I am. And thank God, because, and that's what I tell people all the time when they quit the gym. I say, I don't care that you're leaving me. Sure, I care about you. But I'm not angry with you. But let me ask you this. What's the alternative? If you're telling me this isn't working, what are you going to go do?
Yeah. I can recognize maybe that my gym brand isn't right for you for whatever reason, but you got to do something to get your health in order. What are you going to do?
I got it. I'll figure it out. No, you won't.
No, you won't. That's why you didn't work out before you came here.
So, I mean, it's just humans, myself included, man. We
all do it.
overcomplicate. We overcomplicate
Yeah,
everything.
we all do it.
And it doesn't have to be complicated, Mike. You talk about rewiring your mind, reframing your mind. It's, if anybody can do anything that we recommend, and we have no affiliation with Mr. James Clear, read Atomic Habits. Start there. Read that book. Take some nuggets away. Okay, maybe
Well, I was just about to
chapter.
ask you to. Yeah, I was about to ask you to bring this home. I mean, what challenge? What's one thing or two things that people can do to start to navigate this pathway now?
Outside of reading, obviously I like to read. I've actually been listening to Atomic Habits on podcasts while I walk, just kind of getting some of it brought back in. And I want to steal a little bit of the book because I think it's valuable. In the very beginning of the book, one of the first lessons or stories that they tell is a British cycling team about how a series of micro changes took them from being the absolute worst team on the planet to reeling off like 5 or 6 Tour de France wins in a row, gold medalists. And it was, we're going to all get better sleep with better mattresses. We're going to all change our bike seats to this one. We're going to change our pedals to be exactly this one. We're going to wear this exact fabric. Tiny, nonchalant, nothing to do with cycling changes created what? Consistency, clarity, connection, which led to what? I'm not going to let, this is working. The momentum is what you're chasing. It's not the dopamine, it's momentum. In the beginning, hell yes, it's dopamine because it's the shiny new object. Yeah, I'm going to the gym. 2 weeks from now, that wears off. It takes about 2 weeks. Now you have to rely on momentum. This is who I am. I've rewired myself. I'm going to go do this. I don't care what these other people do or say. I don't care if they quit. That's them. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to be. Then I'm going to stack my wins. Consistency breeds winners, Mike. Small incremental changes. Hit singles, not home runs. That's my advice that I give to everybody that I talk to. Build one thing first. Get your work. Stop hitting snooze for a week. One day. Then go to 2, then to 3. I mean, it's so stupid when you say it like that, but that's such a reality. Drink half a gallon or drink half of your body weight in water every day. Start with 1 day. Do it again and do it again until eventually you know what you're doing. Like you're just doing it like you brush your teeth. We've said that
Which is
before.
what we always talk about, right? Everybody has non-negotiables in their day already. They don't think about it.
You
That's what
don't
you
think
have to
about
turn these
grabbing
things
that
into.
toothbrush ever. You just grab it, put the toothpaste on it, and half the time you don't even remember doing it.
Yep. That's what you need. All these things that will change your life to become the things you don't think about anymore. They just happen.
Water before caffeine. You just do it. And when you do it long enough, guess what you're grabbing first? Your water cup.
Yeah.
It's just small incremental changes, Mike. And I feel like more people could just latch onto that. You know, when we go and you and I had the opportunity to go to Louisville together not long ago, and you see the reception of the simple things. And it's because we think that we have to do all these vast, drastic things to make change in our life. We don't. We just have to make this much of a change. And it's charismatic, right? It will generate momentum. It'll generate that positive aura to where you want to keep doing more. Like right now, I'm on a roll, dude. I ain't breaking it. I'm not eating that pizza. I'm on a freaking roll and I feel good. And it's going to be a while before I come off the streak because it feels good. I want everybody to have that same emotion about working out and eating and all the things, because to your point, your body didn't change overnight. We had to work our asses off.
That is for sure.
But you had tons of non-negotiables. And you followed them. You didn't cheat. You know,
4 years later, still doing it.
Because that's who you are now.
That's just who I am now. It's not even a debate.
It's not even a question.
You know, and a lot of our listeners know we travel a lot. I used to travel every week for work, and now that I'm not working, my wife and I are still traveling a lot to go see cool places. Everything that I do at home, I do on the road. The first place we stop is a grocery store, whether that be in Spain or Michigan, and we buy the stuff that we know that we're going to eat that week. Do we go out for dinner still? Sure we do, but we make the right choice. We make a grilled chicken breast, please add no oil, even if you're in Italy, whatever. And the very next thing that we do is before we even leave the house, while we're in the middle of the trip planning, we're planning what gym we're going to go to in every town that we're in. And we're looking up the gyms, the style of gym that we like to go to.
Do you feel like that you live a not fun, depressing life?
No. Hell no, brother. I think I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my entire life.
Because
no,
people think that, right?
That does sound confining. I guess what I just said does sound confining. It's not. It's so freeing. It's unbelievable. These are the things now I like to do, right? That's part of the experience, is to go see new cultures and talk to people in their own gyms and whatever. But that's not even it. It's just because I got to brush my teeth too. And I got to go to the gym. I got to eat the foods that I eat, and I got to take a shower every day. Those are the things I got to do. Just like you got to brush your teeth when you go somewhere else in the world.
What
makes all these things?
What makes Mike 2.0 different than Mike 1.0?
I don't negotiate on anything.
How did you flip the switch?
Through constant self-diagnosis of what I was doing wrong. As you know, it does not happen overnight, but it start doing little things. My coach has in my program how many calories I'm going to eat today. I'm absolutely going to do that. I'm going to do that. And then tomorrow I'm going to do that, and I'm going to drink the water. And the next day, and it wasn't day by day. It was 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, whatever. I am not going to miss a workout. I don't care what happens. And he's got his program for me. All I got to do is show up and push the button and do what he tells me to do. And I'm going to do it. And you start doing all those things, and you start doing them every day. You start doing them consistently. Then everything that you want to make better in your life is so easy to go do.
All right. My follow-up to that is Mike today better than any other human?
Absolutely not. No, zero.
Because it's as easy as making one decision.
That's not true. I'm better than the old Mike, and that's the only thing that I care about. That's the only thing I care about.
You got to reflect. You know, I tell people all the time, rip the rearview mirror off, but it's okay to look over your shoulder at your old self.
Yeah, every now and again, it's funny. So we've got this family group text, right? And every now and again, an old picture will pop up. And I will be the one to say, well, that's a great picture, except for that fat guy in the middle of it. And then I'll say, oh, we love that version of Mike as much as you love this version. You liars. It's okay.
You know, you look back on things and you're like, man, I'm just out of control, reckless.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yes.
You don't have to be an alcoholic or a drug addict or anything else to live a reckless lifestyle. All three of those things can put you in the ground. And I think that's what people are naive to.
Well, here's the point that I wanted to tell you is kind of finish up on my own is 90% of the people, probably 95% based on what I see in the general population, don't even think they've got an issue. Don't even think they have a problem. Just sailing through life, they've accepted mediocrity, not consciously, just through their daily decisions and renegotiations have accepted mediocrity. And then every now and again, somebody will reach out to you or to me because they see the changes that we've made and they'll say, I want to fix my life. I want to change it. They'll have a realization for whatever reason, health issue or self-actualization. How do I do it? And you tell them, so Shane was talking about is he was on a panel for a really cool event. I won't disclose the event, but it was a really cool one we had a chance to do. I had a chance to observe it. And Shane was a gym owner. That was his representation. He was on a panel with a neurosurgeon and a heart surgeon.
Yeah, maybe.
and let's just say the audience thought the neurosurgeon was hilarious and the heart surgeon had really great advice, but they listened to the simplicity of what Shane was talking about. And that's what we got hammered with at the end of the event. We're standing around social hour talking to people, and it was the simplicity of what Shane asked them to do to change their lives, to improve their heart health was really the primary point of the conversation. And that's the same thing that you and I say to people all the time when they say, how do I change my life? It's like, don't, what you said, don't overcomplicate it. I'll give you 10 things if you want, but I want you to think about these 2 for now. Right. And then come back to me and let's take on the next ones. But then you never hear from them again.
No, you got to keep the emotion out. That's my big takeaway from today's episode. And if you're struggling with renegotiation and if you're struggling with rewriting your contract every day, take the emotion out of the decision, just like you should do in we need to rerun the blue because I have to think about that a lot. I'm like, God, I should have taken a pause there. I should have backed off, got my bearings, because that is my weakness. But it's not an excuse. I can't keep using that as a crutch. That's just my weakness. No, I need to do whatever it is I need to do to stop being so explosive with my emotions. I've learned to master the power of renegotiation. I don't do it. But to your point, Mike, is if you can keep the emotion out and you make things non-negotiable and you just literally write down one thing that you want to change, to your point, one thing, whether it's waking up on time, drinking water. Well, I don't care what it is. Setting your shoes by your bed. Even if you don't put your feet in them, guess what? That's a start. You started. You didn't go to the gym that morning. That's okay. You brought them out. That's at least a step. When people call me on the phone and say, you just did the hardest thing. You actually answered the phone when I called you. You made the appointment, which means you have a why. All I'm asking is, what is your why? I already know what it is. I want you to tell me. And then I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I can break down those barriers for you. Then you've got one decision to make. Do I show up or not? 50% of them won't, even when they said they will. So this is what I try to understand about the human psyche. You saw an ad, which immediately triggered an emotional response that says, I have a problem that I want to fix. You schedule a phone call. You get on that phone call. And then you tell me it's too expensive. That is a bullshit ass excuse. Guess what you just did? You know it's going to be hard. You know it's going to be challenging. So you negotiated that with the easiest path that I won't argue with you on. There's always an underlying issue. It's not money. If it's money, you wouldn't call me in the first place.
Well, you knew it wasn't free. You know what the average cost of a gym is. It's not like it's a boutique, high-end, expensive place to come.
I give you all the reasons why you can and remove the barriers, and then your brain goes, you don't know anybody, it's going to be hard. What if they laugh at you? All the things that will not happen.
Right.
And you immediately talk yourself.
The exact opposite actually would happen, but yeah.
And now you've restarted the loop. Guess what happens in 3 months? Same cycle. So it's our job, Mike, to break cycles. How can we help you break a cycle? Because we broke ours. We're not experts, but we broke our cycles. I'd say we got a pretty good handle on it. So how do we
It's
help
the-
people
it's-
break, the cycle? So that's what we effectively want to do, as
That's right.
Leadership Ignition Team avenue is for us to be able to come in and help, either whether it's your workplace, your meeting house, one-on-ones, business leaders, entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, doesn't matter. We want to be a facilitator to help however that is, from the most simplest things to however advanced you want it to be. But we're going to recommend simple in the front end because not enough people teach simplicity. They make it too complicated, and complications creates barriers. Barriers causes what? Renegotiation. So there's my shameless plug, my friend.
No, it's not shameless. That's the only reason we exist. We created this for that reason, because of the impact it had in our lives when we finally got control and stopped renegotiating with ourselves and realized the value of that and how much we wanted to share that with others, Shane. So that's why we're here. So anyway, if you want to find us and you want to learn more about how to do that, just go to our website at www.leadershipignitionteam.com. You can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram. I think Shane's got something on TikTok. I don't TikTok. We'll figure that out.
I don't either, really. That's why our TikTok probably sucks, by the way.
LinkedIn, every now and again, we'll post there. We should probably do more there because I think this message resonates with the folks that are hanging out there. But anyway, we love doing this. We love talking about this stuff. And as you can imagine, every time we get a chance to research a topic for ourselves to present, we learn ourselves even more. So thank you guys for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And Shane, how do we close it up?
Well, I was going to tell you, I don't know if you noticed, I'm going for the Priscilla look, right? I know he's...
I think you're getting a little long in the beard.
Well, I'm keeping it short here, like the fade, and I'm going to let this go out. Then I'm going to get me some first form drinks, and then I'm going to cuss a lot more.
Do you think that's the magic?
And maybe,
is that what we
just maybe, we may be able to
get
an uptick in our viewing.
You bring on the Frizzell. I don't know what I'll do. I updated my podcast studio so I don't look like a homeless guy when I'm doing this now. I
forgot to mention, look at the setup, dude. I'm a big, now I've got to do something different.
We got our own sign. We got a whole new backdrop, a whole new back wall.
You even got the fancy
stuff.
little fold-in mic, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's sweet.
You really took her to the next level.
I went crazy.
I like it. All right, man. Good episode today. I've appreciated jumping back on. We're working on some special guests coming on soon. I know Mike and I we have lives, and Mike's gone through a recent transition. Maybe we'll do a podcast on some of that whenever he feels comfortable diving into that, because I know he has a lot of life lessons and that he can probably relate to that. But Mike's on a little bit of a different journey for the time being, so it's going to open up a little bit more time, hopefully, for us. And that says we're going to make a commitment to, we're going to put together a plan for some more of these each month, have on some cool guests, and see if we can get some traction back behind some of the stuff that we had to temporarily push pause on. So excited about the future, brother.
Me too, man.
But for now, let's put a big old bow on this. And appreciate you guys listening in to the Leadership Ignition Team podcast. As always, go check us out where Mike said. And for those that know our silly tagline at the end of the episodes, Mike, let's get lit, baby.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Leadership Ignition Team podcast. Go to our website at www.leadershipignitionteam.com to subscribe to our weekly newsletter, engage with us, and find your favorite podcast networks, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.